Hello, guys. Welcome back
Good
to
evening.
House Media House Call. Good evening. Pleasure having you. This is your host, Michelle Simon, and this is In the House Media Call, powered by Sapphire Emerald Magazine. And we have the pleasure of speaking with the amazing GP Jackson, okay? And he is such a soulful person, and I cannot wait for him to just let the audience connect with him and know who he is and what inspired, all the things we're going to discuss. So thank you so much, Garrett, for joining us this evening on our platform. Garrett, he is from the DMV area, same place as my husband. So I'm so excited. I believe it's
All
Mitch,
right.
correct? Mitchfield, Maryland.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Just want to, let the audience know who, Mr. GP Jackson is and why the huge hype, why am I seeing you in magazines, on Fox, and so many other platforms, why I had to bring you on. And, such an encouraging, story, and I love it. So the floor is yours.
I appreciate you, Michelle, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all at In-House Media. I really appreciate the chance to speak to your audience, let them know a little bit about myself and about this project, Letter to a Nation.
Yeah.
This piece is, thinking about our taping now today on the 1-year anniversary when we all initially got the information from the World Health Organization about COVID-19 and the stay-at-home orders that transpired shortly thereafter, many of us starting to work from home and all of that. And to begin to see now where we are a year later from all of that to still very much be in the struggle. Some now 530,000 folks who have lost their lives to this very deadly disease. And this piece, Letter to a Nation, really touches on the frustration, the anger, the grief that comes with all that we experienced in 2020, especially, and how we can also begin to get to this place of hope and healing, and also reconciles and deals with a lot of the racial unrest that we were seeing in the country, and it's been a part of our history for far too long. And so this piece was something I woke up with and something that I was really called to deliver, I would say. And I'm really, really excited that I did, humbled that I did. And if I'm honest, this was a piece that I never wish I had to write, but for such a time as this.
Yes, definitely well needed. And, I'm going to let you definitely elaborate some more on that. And I just wanted to let you know that I connected with the piece because it speaks volumes on, as you stated, everything that we've experienced as a nation together collectively as a whole, into police brutality and so many other, topics that, people of color have to face on a day-to-day basis.
That's right.
Like, oh, racism is gone, but no, it was literally just brushed under the carpet, and that became evident again, from that we've seen, Breonna Taylor, and Garrett Floyd, just to name, a few, and it was heart-wrenching to see the level that it went to, especially in modern times. It just gives a lot of people a lot of flashback on the things that they had to endure in the past and collectively over the years, because, whether it be on the job or walking down the street or at, a business, the way that you're treated, the turned up noses and, just different things of that nature. So that piece in itself spoke to me on so many levels, and I just cannot wait to share it with our audience because it's deep, and I applaud you for doing that. And you're an amazing person. So, if you could just let the audience also know a little bit about your background. I know that you attended Morgan State, graduated from there. You were a business major, not business, but
music major. It's actually a music major.
Music. I had to correct.
Yeah.
and then you ended up doing some other things that I'm going to let you elaborate on that. So
Sure.
go ahead and let them know what it is that took you to Morgan, State, and why you pursued music as a major.
Yeah, certainly. So I began my journey in music, I'll say, DeMatha High School here in Hyattsville, Maryland. And shortly after graduation, I knew I wanted to continue in that passion and was fortunate to get a scholarship to go to Morgan State University and study music there on both a music and academic scholarship. And as I continued on, I knew that music was going to be a part of my life for a long time. Had the opportunity to travel and sing with the internationally renowned Morgan State University choir at that time under the late Dr. Nathan Carter, and really being able to have an opportunity to share the gift of music with the world. And so I'm just excited, some almost 20 years later, to still be performing and to still be doing music, but this being my actual very first solo release as an artist. So it's a really unique moment for me, and seeing how my worlds have kind of collided. I've worked in the kind of consultancy space. I did a master's in public policy, so got a slightly different, depends on what day it is, I'm using a different side of my brain. But this piece really kind of brings the two together to really call to attention all of the social justice issues, social ills, social challenges, right, that we've been seeing in our communities. And so blending those expertise together to be able to ask the question, what is your letter to a nation even, and how are we on an individual level going to pick up the baton, right, and do something different, create change in our communities, be that that initiator that is so desperately needed. And I'm just glad that we're at a point right now where we've got sound leadership in the White House. We've kind of restored a sense of peace.
And you were there, you residing in that area. You were there for all of the pros and the cons of everything.
Right. So that's right.
I've seen so much, and I have family there as well, and it's just it's amazing, what we've went through to get where we are today. And I honestly can say that I'm at peace with it, and I just hope that everything that is being placed now into order, maintains that course, and we can rise above and kind of, I'm going to say, make us all great again, so literally, because
we need an overhaul. We need a renewal. We need to redefine what great is and start from there.
We were not great, because it's not a one-sided thing to make a nation great. It has to be, a joint effort collectively by all parties involved. Right now, there's so many, families that have, different interracial marriages. You have so many different cultures within, families, blended families. So it's just, it just amazes me what we had to deal with, and to me, I always say the audacity, because, it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. But anyhow, that's my personal opinion. And going back before we talk about the letter to a nation a little bit more, I want to highlight something that was very monumental in your life and something that you experienced. And I'm just going to mention the date, and you could let the audience know what that experience was like for you. December 23rd, 2019.
December 23rd.
That
December 23rd. Yes. Yeah. So I had the honor of singing at the Kennedy Center, and it was actually one of the last performances that take place on the Kennedy Center stage. John F. Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Was doing the Handel's Messiah, which in today's kind of retrospect, that would be considered a super spreader event, because literally it was a sing-along. And so the entire main stage and the entire concert hall rather of the Kennedy Center was completely packed. Some 2,000 plus guests that attended and attended. This was, I think, the 41st annual sing-along. And so from that moment, that was one of the last times that folks had an opportunity to be on that stage and in that space. Absolutely. And so really unique moment for me, my Kennedy Center debut, but to reflect on that and think, wow, that was one of the last moments where we all got together like that. And folks literally singing toward me as I'm on stage. If you can imagine with the COVID eyes, how we would maybe think about that now, it's just incredible that I was able to be a part of that. And yeah, December 23rd, 2019, special day.
Yes, absolutely. And Letter to a Nation, your style to me, and you're versed in many genres, of course. Yeah. I read up, I did my research, and you've done so many things: gospel, R&B, even some country, soul, all of the above. And I'm just like, wow, and just to see how you developed Letter to a Nation, because for me, I felt like it had a little bit of country feel to it as well, and it was well put together. And for the magazines, the news stations, and so forth to pick that up, that was very big. And
it was a really unique moment, and I've been very fortunate to have folks in my circle who are connected in those spaces. And so I think part of it was believing in not just in me or in the piece, but considering the message. Yes. That was so poignant, and that is so poignant still for our time. My colleagues and close friends said, man, let's champion this thing and figure out how to get it into places so that people can see this and people can really understand the gravity of what's been happening, but also that there's a factor of hope that you're continuing to push with this message as well. And so between Fox 5, between WBAL 11, and it's been a few others. It's been really a unique experience, especially as a first-time artist, to share these pieces and have it be lifted up in this way is really unique and really something special.
Yes, absolutely. And you've had almost 500,000 views that I saw on YouTube when I was looking at it. I was just like,
from your lips to God's ears. I don't know if we're there quite yet. We're gonna speak that. We're gonna speak that.
I'm looking and I'm just like, wow. For first time, it's amazing the amount of people that I saw actually viewing, and I was just like, wow, this is something.
Sure thing.
And it's because of the positive message that I've seen, in it. And I just want to, have the audience understand what took you there. We know that it was about, injustice, brutality, and what we were experiencing throughout. Yeah. Is this something that you've always been passionate about?
Great question. So yes, in terms of being an advocate for our people, part of the reason I wanted to study public policy was I was living in Chicago about 10 years ago, and it was my first time really living in the inner city and really experiencing first time what joblessness looked like, what homelessness looked like, what insecurities from housing, from food insecurity, access to resources, living on the South Side in Bronzeville. And so a mixed community where you had folks who were doing really well and folks who really weren't doing well at all. And that was the first time for me where I said, there's more to this story than what meets the eye. And that was the reason that I wanted to pursue public policy. So studied there at George Washington, came back to DC to study there, and had the opportunity to work in the housing space for a few years, just to really learn more about what it is that our communities are dealing with, how we're kind of working to solve these issues around affordable housing, around access to resources, thinking about how you help families thrive beyond just housing, what other types of resources that help folks really get out of the rut that they might be in, be able to restore a sense of dignity and hope and pride for people, and really be able to reinforce what they already have, the drive that they have. Folks are so resilient. no matter where you are on the economic scale, people are so entirely resilient. So being a part of that solution was really big to me, and it's something that I continue to pursue in a variety of different ways. But this piece really, I think, touches on all of those worlds really kind of coming together and thinking about what we do from here and how we hold each other up, how we hold folks on the other side of the table accountable, and really provide an honest lens to be transparent with one another about what we've been seeing and experiencing, and how we can get to this, what I've been calling this place called better, when we're really working together.
Absolutely. Better is always a great thing. And to have someone such as yourself and many others that support you, including, our platform, just to say that we are not only advocates, we're also activists for the cause. And I always, reiterate the word activist, because you can always advocate for something, but then there's action behind it. And that's when activism comes in,
Well, and I'm hoping that this is a tool to that end, right? I know where my lane is, and I'm not claiming to be something that I'm not. Certainly, I've seen folks on the front line, and I've been one of those spectating from a distance. I've got a young son who's now 8 months old. So my wife and I have been taking care of Quincy here at home, but this was a piece that I hope will be a tool for the masses to use, because I've witnessed what's been going on, and being in the DMV and roaming down the streets and seeing all of the destruction and chaos that's been going on over the last year. We want to rebuild our city. We want to rebuild our home. And this is hopefully a part of that healing.
Yes, and I believe you are both an advocate as well as an activist, and that's the reason why I had you on the platform, because you believe in something and you put action behind it, and you're elevating your platform to help so many others, and it's just commendable. So kudos, my favorite word. So
thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. And you did mention that, and I saw that you did just have your son Quincy. Hi, Quincy, and hello.
He's asleep now, like he needs to be.
Thank you for allowing us to tap in with your husband. We appreciate you. Always a strong woman right by her husband. So definitely appreciate you both. And how was it for you both during the pandemic to experience the pregnancy and everything behind it, with all of the chaos going on in DC now? How was that experience?
It was a little nerve-wracking. I mean, we of course spent a lot of our time here at home, and we're fortunate to be able to do so. But when it came to doctor's visits, it became very clear that I had to be on FaceTime, which was traumatic. In many ways, to not be there with my wife as she's experiencing it's our first time having a child. And so not being able to be there for some of those moments had its own trauma. But certainly, we weren't suffering to the extent that so many who have been, victims of violence and all those other types of things, victims of COVID, especially as well. Our household has been spared in that regard, but it certainly did not make it any less frightening to see what was going on outside, knowing that under normal circumstances, we would find ways to participate. We would find ways to get involved. But these are one of those moments where we had to retreat, and we had to be this family unit that was very insular in a way. And so that was really the spirit that we were activated with. By the time March rolled around and I began to write of 2020, and I began to write the song, she was 6 months pregnant. We had Quincy in July, and I was still in the process of putting finishing touches on the song, finally recording in September, doing the video shot by the amazing folks at InDaHouseMedia in November, finally releasing on December 14th, same day as the vaccine coming out, which was beginning our process to getting to better. Now, several months later, it's just been a crazy, crazy, crazy journey. But one that I'm so humbled to have been a part of.
Right. Awesome. And shout out to everyone that made this possible. It's definitely an amazing piece. And, I just appreciate you all, getting behind GP Jackson and getting it out there because it's something that definitely needs to be seen and heard. So,
Appreciate that.
oh, absolutely. With everything, I know that the song is out. It's making its wave. It's a strong message. It's positive. It's something that we need. People can reflect and think, and hopefully it touches so many others that need to kind of understand, where everybody else is coming from or the viewpoints. What do you have planned for the rest of 2021 and futuristically with Letter to a Nation? And do you have other projects to follow up behind that? Because I know that you're an advocate. So
yeah, we'll see where the spirit leads in terms of the writing. Definitely got some ideas in mind about what going back outside looks like and feels like, and hoping to have a new tune to speak to that experience. But certainly we're hoping that things will not only just feel better, but will actually be better. Right? And so we're not returning back to what pre-COVID looked like, because we had lots of challenges pre-COVID, right?
Absolutely.
And so thinking about what we want to experience, what the new outside looks like, smells like, feels like, for Black and brown people and beyond, I definitely want to be able to speak to that. So stay tuned there. Also, with the piece, we've got a educational component, Letter to a Nation education, that you can begin to follow on Instagram. And we're building a K through 12 and post-secondary curriculum. My colleague and friend, Dr. Rhonda Hilton, who was out of Kent State University in Ohio, she is helping to lead and develop this curriculum that will speak to civic engagement, social justice, and racial equity. And we're thinking broadly about how to infuse the spirit and the words and the posture of Letter to a Nation to empower young people to be able to use their voice, their creative voice, in a way that's able to translate. It's beyond just music. It's beyond just spoken word, but what are the things that students can be doing, and how our school systems can be preparing students to be social change advocates, right? And it's not necessarily the school's responsibility to create activists, but to create folks who, and students who, and young people who have a mindset for thinking critically, for understanding how to leverage the power that they have as citizens, and to be able to know how to utilize that power, right? So that we can be a more perfect union. So that's really the goal of the educational component. And we'll be building that out over the course of the next several months. I've had the opportunity to speak with students in Philadelphia, in Columbia, Maryland, and others coming in the future. And so we're trying to build on that momentum, because there's a need and there's a desire to have something different, so that our students can be prepared for the world ahead of them.
Right. And with you elaborating on that, that's amazing. I believe that it's something that is well needed. We have to ensure that, the younger ones have the tools necessary for them to succeed on all levels. And we work hands in hand in this platform. We give back to many, charities, and we actually started working with the Harriet Tubman Learning Center last year in the midst of the pandemic, and met her through Mr. Dorn. They met in Philadelphia, which is ironic that you said even Philly, and it's DMV, so all of the area. And we have what we do annually here with InDaHouseMedia, which is called the Philly to Philly Weekend in Atlanta, and it's a lot of positive things that we implement, from education to actors, authors, just giving back and having that wholesome Philly vibe to it, where you kick back but still get an educational piece out of it. And the HTLC, the Harriet Tubman Learning Center, they have that building there where they're educating people with the STEM and STEAM programs. And just on yesterday, they actually had Harriet Tubman Day where they were discussing the $20 bill, with Harriet Tubman's face being on it. And, they had several congressmen, from the Senate that were on, as well as, local mayors and quite a few people. Right. So I feel that where you're going is somewhere that we can discuss also, possibly, getting the HPLC, because they believe in educating and giving back to the children, the less fortunate.
Right.
With the information that you just gave me, I think that would go hand in hand with the programs that she's trying to implement with the Harriet Tubman Learning Center, because it's to be in every city. So we definitely talk more on that, and we could definitely expound and do some amazing things futuristically as well, because I'm going to be behind you 100%. Anything to help the younger ones and our people, I'm all for it. So kudos there. Going back to the topic, oh, absolutely. I love it. That just gave me the chills. I was just like, really? Wow. It's just amazing how God works. I just always believe he puts people in your path for reasons. And this was the reason. I saw you and I was just like, oh, this is great. So definitely so much more to you than just, a letter to a nation. So I'm definitely tapped all the way in. So,
awesome.
Yes. So with that being said, for the viewers, I'm going to go ahead and play, some parts to Letter of the Nation for you guys, so you too can have that experience, and then we can let you know where you too can go and purchase, because he is out on several platforms. So we're going to go ahead and play that right now.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Letter to a Nation, y'all.
I love it.
Where do I begin? Will it ever end? How did we even get here? How long will we be here? When will we win? Our time seems like it's running thin. Confusion and delusion are sinking in. Our faith is being shaken. Might bend, but it ain't breaking. Would you listen to my letter to a nation? Dear America, oh, dear America, you say no, it can't be me. Turn around and infect your family. Our arrogance is delirious. We gotta take it serious. When we all believe one day we'll all be free. The Fed says handled, but it ain't. Let science lead the way when we came. Cases rise and rise and rise. You say everything's alright, but it ain't right when lies are costing lives. Dear America,
I love it. I love it. I love it. So that was a snippet for you guys. And look, he's gonna make me cry. Look. I love it.
It's a powerful piece. Powerful piece.
It is.
And you can find the full extended video with the spoken word on YouTube. Just hit GP Jackson Letter to a Nation, and it'll pop up there, so you can see the extended version. I know when we try to do these things by stream, sometimes you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, but you go directly to YouTube on your computer, on your device, it's going to stream at 1080p. So you'll be able to experience it there, and certainly hope you'll be able to share it with family and friends. But I really, really appreciate the opportunity. And thank you again, Michelle, for offering to share this piece with your community and with your listeners as well.
Absolutely. We are, blessed to have you here. I definitely cannot wait.
I'm blessed to be here. Believe
Absolutely. And with everything that's going on, the experiences that you had through COVID, and still found the time to, stay strong, persevere, and put out such a powerful piece. It speaks volumes, and I can't wait to see how far it goes, because I know that, beyond the sky. Okay. They say the sky's the limit. I don't believe the sky's the limit. I believe we could go further. So, with that being said, I'm just enthused with everything that you have going on, the educational things that you have in place, and so much more. I can't wait. Utilize my platform. You're more than welcome to. We have the event that I told you about. We're definitely going to invite you out to that. And I can't wait to see, the follow-ups that you said that you're going to do. And I have, more questions behind that. Just seeing that, you look so natural, like it's just a natural thing for you, in the video, and even speaking with you, it's just, it flows so naturally. So with your background, just to give the audience a little bit more about who GP Jackson is. I know you're very, you're an educated young man. You've done so much. You're giving back to the community. You're, speaking out for people that don't, feel that they have a voice or don't know how to get their voices heard. And those who are gone, and, you're still speaking for them, so where did this talent come from? Are there singers in your family, or is it something that you've always wanted to do? I just need to know the backgrounds of where GP Jackson,
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That's a great question. So I have to give my grandmother, my mother's mother, credit for the voice that I inherited. And I unfortunately, I don't know if my voice will ever compare, but she grew up in the New York City area, in East Orange, New Jersey, and had the opportunity to perform the likes of Carnegie Hall back in the 1940s and 50s, which for a Black woman at that time, pretty unheard of. And so she had a rare gift, and I'm still working to track down some copies of her performing, some audio of her performing, just to be able to hear the voice that she had. So that's something that our family is working on. But certainly my mother can attest that that's where my voice came from. And so whether it's classical that I'm doing, or this kind of bluesy country feel that I was doing here on Letter to a Nation, my voice has the ability to be able to be a bit of a chameleon and do a variety of different things. So that's where I get my gift from, for sure. God given, but my grandmama gave it to me.
Okay, well, go grandma. I love it. I want to know, because I read somewhere, I saw some, I did research, so I'm anal for doing that. But I want to know about this whole opera thing.
Yeah. So my background, undergrad from Morgan State, is in vocal music. And so I studied classical, spent a lot of time learning the ins and outs of diction and all types of things that prepare you from learning languages. Studied German, studied Italian, performed recitals that had me span different genres, composers of all sorts. And I've, continued to perform in a variety of different capacities. Did opera briefly in a chorus kind of role for an opera called Porgy and Bess by George Gershwin. And also done a really unique opera called Margaret Garner which the libretto was actually done by Toni Morrison. And so really, really exciting and awesome pieces. But I didn't stay in the opera world very long, but continued to use my voice in the classical scene and the choral scene, a variety of other places where I can kind of find a home. Definitely have done it in church countless times, and the church is certainly home for me in that regard, and as a man of faith. But I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to use my voice in a variety of different ways. And Letter to a Nation was not what I expected. I did not expect to write a piece that had, such a country bluesy kind of soul type of play. But I knew that in writing it and being honest about the writing process, that if I stuck to what I was being given, that it would be authentic and it would come across that way. And so I'm glad that I took a dare on myself. And I had a community of folks around me that said, go for it, do it, try it. That made a big difference.
That's amazing. So I love that. And I appreciate all genres of music. So it touched me and I was just like, ooh, country, so it was definitely, the bluesy feel with it in some parts as well. So definitely very put together piece. And the delivery, that I couldn't see it being delivered any other way than how you did it. So I think, it touches you in the right places for sure. And people that appreciate good music definitely just going to appreciate it, and the message itself. So absolutely amazing. You've mentioned some names, and as an artist, and even in the sectors that you've worked in, who would you like to work with, as far as doing any collaborations futuristically?
Oh my gosh, too many to name. On the music side, John Legend, Common,
I see that.
Roots. If the Roots and Jimmy Fallon are listening, let's do
it.
Think of our incredible national poet laureate Amanda Gorman. Be able to collaborate with her on a
dynamic.
If you're out there listening, Amanda. So many incredible artists that come to mind. Eric Roberson, that gave me a lot of inspiration when doing this piece. I mean, that's just to name a few.
Okay, great. So I have another question. What would you, where you are now, what would you say to your younger self?
Be fearless. Be fearless and really, really trust that what you have is enough. All right. I think so many of us doubt ourselves, or, because our gift may be a little different from what the trend is, we don't unleash it. But I did a post not too long ago, and I just said, dare to unleash your gift, dare to put enough work in, trust what it is that you have, and be daring enough to do it. Be daring enough to do it, because you just have no idea what can come from it when you actually put it to the test. And so, in my case, I've been singing for a long time, but I had dreamed about, becoming an artist, and I never would have imagined doing so during a pandemic. Song about a pandemic,
right,
in such a way that it really resonates, or at least is relatable to every human being on the planet. It's stuff that you can't create, you can't conjure up, you can't manufacture, you can't make it up. And so I just say to folks, to my younger self, even, dare to be great, dare to believe in yourself, be fearless.
Absolutely. That's definitely great advice. And, one more question for you.
Sure.
Well, not even a question, but well, yeah, it's a question. What advice you gave great advice to your younger self with your experiences with music and just being in this time and age and experiencing COVID? What would you tell, you know, artists that are up and coming? What would your motivation to them be?
I mean, it's the same story. It's the same story, to be fearless. There's countless resources out there, and you never know who knows who, sometimes even within your own circle. And so sometimes it's about asking the question. It's really about going beyond what you can see for yourself, and trusting that, you know, the people around you who love you, who care for you, who are there for you, will lift you up when that moment is right, and when they know that you've got something special to help you actually put it out. There's no way that this piece would have gotten as much attention as it has if it were not for people in my corner who believed in the message, who love me, who believe in me, that said, yo, G, we're going to push this thing, man. This is what we're going to do. This is who we're going to call. This is what's going to happen. Let's make moves. And I've talked to more people in the last 3 months on the phone, FaceTime. I mean, it's been insane, but it's all been for purpose. And these are people in my circle, an extended circle, who have just lended their time, their resources. I don't have a publicist. I don't have a PR firm behind me. You know, this is grassroots, baby. This is grassroots through and through. And to think, I was just talking to a artist earlier this evening. It's not normal even for seasoned artists to have multiple TV interviews and multiple podcasts. Like it's not necessarily par for the course. Particularly as a new artist, and so you just kind of fill in the blanks. You're like, this isn't normal, and I get that, and so that's why I come very humble to all of this, because I realize that this is a privilege. This is not a given. This is a privilege, and so as I hope that the music will continue to inspire, that the message will continue to get us. You know, to think about our actions and how we can be better for one another. Yeah.
Story, and that's why it's paving its own way, because it's telling our story. So,
right.
You know, you said that it is given because the Most High gave it, and it's making waves because it was needed.
Yes.
And I believe in it, so we're going to be behind it. And just keep pressing on, and I love it. So again, guys, if you just tapped in, we have the amazing GP Jackson, Mr. Garrett GP Jackson, in the building with his amazing song Letter to a Nation. It is on YouTube. We're going to be posting it everywhere on our platform, so make sure that you tap in. He has some amazing things educationally that we're going to try to get on board with, and ensure that everybody else has the same opportunity, because we believe in uplifting and building our communities. That is what InDaHouse Media platform is about. We welcome everyone in the house, and all we ask is that you pay it forward. And with that being said, again, we are powered by Sapphire Emerald Magazine, and we have so much in store for you guys. So stay tuned with Mr. GP Jackson, your host, Michelle Diamond, of course, the man of the hour, Mr. Jerome Dorn. We are so grateful for him and allowing us to have this platform as well, to just tell the story and to hear how many of us actually have the same thought process and believe in the same things, and just being able to share it with so many people. And if that's what you believe in, tap in, follow GP Jackson on Instagram at The Real GP Jackson. And
At Real GP Jackson.
At Real GP Jackson on Instagram. And make sure that you go ahead, like, subscribe on YouTube, and cop everything that he has coming out. Okay? You heard it here at InDaHouseMedia House Call. And again, thank you for tuning in. And we love you guys. Much love and God bless. Until next time. And we're going to go to